What is up, and welcome back to the Life Unlimited Coaching channel. This is Coach Kayla, and today I'm going to go over 5 tips to reducing your sugar intake. Now, a lot of people will come to me and they will tell me that they struggle with sugar cravings, and if carbs and sweets didn't exist, then, they would be the epitome of health, and they just need to figure out how to reduce their sugar cravings. And so I thought I'd put together a list of 5 ways to reduce sugar cravings, and the last one may actually surprise you. So without further ado, let's get into it. So number one, if you're putting your nutrition, diet, meal plan together, then one super easy way to make sure that you reduce your sugar cravings is you only or a majority of the time only eat whole foods. Now, what I mean by that is single ingredient items, okay? So if you go to the grocery store, you are going to buy vegetables, you are going to buy fruit, you are going to buy, not bread, because most breads have more than one ingredient. You could buy like sourdough, because most of the time they only have 3, but I would even avoid bread, right? I would look at pasta and make sure it only has 1 ingredient, or maybe make your own pasta. Rice is usually fine. Rice is usually just rice, right? But try and find single ingredient items as much as you possibly can, okay? That's number 1. And with that, you want to make sure that when you're out grocery shopping, you're planning your meals and it's single ingredient items mixed together, right? And while you're buying stuff, number 2 is don't buy it. Remove temptations, okay? I can't tell you how many times people are like, oh, I wish I could reduce my sugar intake. Meanwhile, they're buying fruit snacks for their kids, and they're buying licorice, and they're buying all of this stuff. And if you're trying to cut out sugar and eat less of it, then it would benefit your kids to do the same. And so it would be more beneficial for you to buy more fruits, more vegetables, more things like that to snack on, rather than fill your pantry with stuff that you don't want anyway, okay? That you're going to be tempted with later. So remove temptations. The third thing that you want to do is you need to find new stress-reducing strategies or activities, because a lot of people that come to me that are having trouble with sugar cravings, they're usually eating it when they're stressed, okay? And the reason we do that is because eating sugar gives us a great, awesome dopamine hit. And so we feel calm, we feel better for just a little bit. But there's lots of different ways to get the same benefit. You could go walking, you could meditate. If you're feeling like a state of overwhelm and anxiety, you can write down everything that you're thinking about. You could call a friend. There's lots of different ways. And so I would look up, and maybe that's another video I could make, is stress reducing strategies that don't involve food, because a lot of us go straight to food when we're stressed, and when we're stressed, the food we choose is usually sugar. That's number 3. And then the 4th one is you need to know your goals and you need to know your numbers. And what I mean by that is, if your goal right now is to lose weight, then you're probably going to be eating fewer carbs and sugars than somebody who's training for a marathon or training for a competition or just maintaining their weight or a CrossFitter or anything like that, okay? And so if you know how many carbs and how much protein and how much fat you're supposed to eat every day, the likelihood that you'll actually consume sugar when you shouldn't, or when it doesn't benefit you, is a lot lower, because you have a lot more knowledge around what you're supposed to be eating and why. And if you need help figuring out exactly what your macronutrient ratio should be, just comment below and I'd be happy to help you figure it out. But you want to make sure you're getting enough protein, and you want to make sure you're getting enough fat, because if you're eating the right ratios of those 3 things, not only is your blood sugar actually going to be level throughout the day, so you won't have these blood sugar crashes, but you'll also be more satiated, you won't be so hungry all the time, and you'll have logic backing up what you're doing with your food instead of just relying on how you feel. And oftentimes, I think when we rely on feelings instead of logic and emotion to guide our decisions when it comes to nutrition, especially in the world we live in and how readily available everything is, it makes it a lot harder. And so if you can make informed decisions around your nutrition and have like guidelines around how much protein you're supposed to eat, which, by the way, if you don't know, the guidelines range, there's lots of different numbers out there, but the one that I have found help my clients and is the most realistic number for my clients is 1.5 times your body weight, your current body weight in kilograms. Okay. Now, if you are a super active person, then you could eat more. If you're struggling to even hit even close to that number, you could go lower and just work your way up. But that seems to be kind of the happy zone, especially for women. And so, as an example, if you weighed 150 pounds, to figure out how many kilograms you weigh, you would divide that by 2.2. Okay, so it gave me 68. And then you would multiply that by 1.5. And so minimum, you should be getting 102. If you're doing a lot of strength training though, it should be closer to like 1.8, 1.9, maybe even 2.2 times your body weight in kilograms. Okay. And so there's also one that says 0.7 to 1.5 of your body weight in pounds. And it's pretty close, but the numbers they start getting pretty high, right? And so you want to make sure that you find the range that works best for you based off of where you currently are. And that's something that you need to figure out where you currently are. And so 1.5 times your body weight in kilograms should give you a good starting point at least. And then you can increase it from there, because the more protein you eat, the better. The higher percentage of your diet that actually comes from protein, it's never a bad thing. Most of our clients are between 30 and 40% of their diet, depending on their current goals. Okay, 30 to 40% of the calories they're consuming, depending on their goals. And that's even with people who are training for endurance races and stuff like that. Okay, they're probably closer to the 30% because they're going to be consuming more carbs and sugars. But nonetheless, you kind of get the idea. Okay, so you really want to know your numbers and your goals and what you're really trying to achieve so that you can actually back up the actions you're taking around food with logic and information instead of just trying to figure it out with your feelings. Okay, so that's number 4. And then number 5 is allow yourself to have it. Allow yourself to have it. I was having a conversation with someone the other day and they said they asked that question, how do I get rid of sugar cravings? And I said, well, what if you allowed yourself to have it? Not a lot of it, but what if it was no longer off the table? Because a lot of times you say, well, I'm never having sugar again. I'm going to cut out sugar completely. And people will do it for a year or 2 at a time, right? But eventually they do have it again, right? There's special occasions that come up. There's holidays, there's vacations. And to say that you're never going to have sugar, you're setting yourself up for failure. So if you just allowed yourself to have it, you'll actually crave it less, I have found, because you'll either fit it in because you'll know your numbers, because that's number 4, right? And it will actually make sense and actually help you get to your goals, or you won't crave it at all because you'll understand that if you eat whole foods, like I said in number 1, and you build your meals around those, you feel much better than if you were to eat processed sugar, right? Processed and added sugar. And so that's number 5. Don't take it off the table. Allow yourself to have it, but recognize how you feel when you eat it compared to when you don't. And you'll probably make the right decision based off of the situation, because you'll naturally be attracted to just not having it because you'll understand exactly how your body reacts to it. And in some cases, it just won't be worth it. But it won't be off the table because you can't have it. It will be off the table because you choose not to. And that's the key. Anyway, hopefully this was helpful. I'd love for you to subscribe. We talk about health, we talk about mindset, we talk about lifestyle. And so if that's beneficial for any of you, please hit the subscribe button and we'll see you in the next video.